haplogroups can reconstruct the migration patterns and expansion of early humans and help to pinpoint the ancestors of all humans. Consensus agrees that the peopling of the Americas started in South America and that mitochondrial haplogroup D1 is the oldest one of all maternal haplogroups that they admit to be Native American. Consensus agrees that mitochondrial D1 migrated to Asia. This migration of the oldest mitochondrial Native American DNA is exactly what you see on your screen. This is a clear proof of American origin, or in other words, this is out of the Americas, right on your screen. This migration from Native Americans to Asia, like Indonesia, China, Japan, Northern Eurasia, with the ancient Northern Eurasians, Pontic grasslands, Mesopotamia, Scandinavia, and finally also to Madagascar and North and East Africa, etc., is not necessarily exclusively a result of rounding the North Pacific to the west, entering or boarding Asia and Eurasia. The Horn of Africa is located in Northeast Africa. Ethiopia is the core nation occupying the heart of the Horn of Africa. Kenya borders Ethiopia directly to the south, sits immediately adjacent to the Horn region. Ethiopia and Kenya are located in or near the Horn of Africa. The Sámi clearly were there as Mitochondrial Eve, but they were already present as the oldest Native American group D. We claim that Mitochondrial Eve is a consequence of progression of Native American groups from haplogroup A to L. Consensus claims it is of African origin, but there is no genetic history or evidence that supports this. It would also be illogical for Sámi and Inuit ancestors to have arrived exactly so extreme north, as first from Africa. The Sámi have indigenous or Eastern morphologies and characteristics, not African ones. So claiming them to be of African origin is an empty dogmatic, almost absurd claim. For consensus, Ethiopia and Kenya are the world's premier hotspots for human evolution fossils, famously tracking millions of years of hominin history. For us, Ethiopia and Kenya are one of the latest in a row of settlements of the by consensus recognized and by us proven Native Americans being responsible for the population with modern humans across the American origin Austronesian expansion and into the whole world, this way giving the kick-start to modern humans across the world. That said, this American origin Austronesian expansion existed besides the expansion along the Arctic northern coast of Eurasia that the Inuits and next the Sámi followed and populated. Sámi and Native Americans share a deep, ancient genetic connection through shared Paleo-Siberian ancestors who migrated from Northeast Asia thousands of years ago. This shared deep ancestry sometimes leads to superficial similarities in facial features or traditional, nomadic, hide-based cultural practices. However, the Sámi seem like a unique indigenous group of Northern Europe, but as shown and proven, the Sámi are of Native American origin. The maternal lineages of the Sámi include haplogroup D5 of the Amazon forest mitochondrial D, which by consensus are assumed to be of Asian and Eastern European origin. What you see right now on your screen is Amazon Native Americans peopling the world with Native Americans. This peopling includes what we today call Mesopotamia and the Pontic grasslands. What you see right now on your screen is what Amazon Native Americans end up peopling with Native Americans, this when mitochondrial group D already had evolved all the way until mitochondrial group L. At the time of D1, there was no mitochondrial L yet. When the Neanderthals arose, they already carried mitochondrial L. Further, the Neanderthals again rose in the Americas and not in Africa. So mitochondrial L, which consensus calls Mitochondrial Eve, in reality arose in the Americas. In fact, it arose in the Amazon forest, just like the oldest mitochondrial group and DNA D1. In other words, Mitochondrial Eve was amongst Amazon Native American modern humans before it arose in the Neanderthals. The Amazon Native American modern humans with mitochondrial L, or the real Homo sapiens, migrated to Africa the same way as the other groups migrated towards Africa, which is not over the Bering Land Bridge, nor along the so-called Kelp route of the Kelp Highway hypothesis. Mitochondrial D2 is the only one that crossed Bering, whether that was over land or over some kind of kelp route. You see that clearest with mitochondrial M. The spreading of M was over sea and in fact provingly across ocean currents. In other words, the spreading of M already was riding the ocean currents. We show you proof that the spreading of the Native American mitochondrial L also, and this long before M, also was riding the ocean currents. When the peopling already involves mitochondrial M, the Native American peoplings together already peopled the whole world. This includes what we today call Mesopotamia and the Pontic grasslands, but also the whole of Australia and the whole of Africa, including the San people in the southern part of Africa. The first group in line, or rather alphabetical sequence, that according to consensus followed up the by consensus accepted Native American mitochondrial haplogroups, is Mitochondrial Haplogroup E. Mitochondrial E is a mitochondrial DNA lineage predominantly found across maritime Southeast Asia, Oceania, and Taiwan. It is clear that America is the real cradle of all humans, and that the Native American haplogroups are from well before the by consensus assumed Mitochondrial Eve. The modern distribution of Mitochondrial E reflects ancient Austronesian migrations, as well as Atlantic migrations. The distribution and frequency of haplogroup E includes several groups of the population Y, who dominantly migrated along the American origin Austronesian expansion, and whose markers are carried in the highest frequencies by Native Americans, and exactly by Amazon forest Native Americans of the mitochondrial D1 groups. So after all, the information about this group further associated this early group with Amazon forest Native Americans and with the mitochondrial haplogroup D, which we claim is the ancestor of all humans, this instead of some African origin being the ancestor of all humans. Further, our claim is confirmed by consumer DNA tests that even point out the Amazon native tribes that represented mitochondrial D in populating the whole world, including modern Europeans. These same consumer DNA tests prove that these ancestor Native American tribes made extensive use of the westward Pacific Ocean current system, as well as of the eastward Atlantic Ocean current system. Mitochondrial F. The next group in line, or in alphabetical order, is mtDNA haplogroup F, is a major maternal lineage predominantly found in East and Southeast Asia. Mitochondrial G. The next mtDNA haplogroup G is a Northeast Asian maternal lineage that likely arose around 35,700 years ago. It is predominantly concentrated in East Asia and Siberia, with the highest frequencies found among indigenous populations surrounding the Sea of Okhotsk, the Japanese Ainu, and Mongolian, Tibetan, and Siberian groups. Mitochondrial G and Native American paternal haplogroups C and Q are overlapping populations in East Asia, Siberia, and the Americas, and they share geographical histories. This progress by means of maternal haplogroups and in parallel of paternal haplogroups goes on and illustrates in the clearest fashion and in detail the real and whole human history and the peopling of the whole world. This clearly starting out with Amazon forest Native Americans, systematically proceeding from the Americas to the west, in the direction of Europe, navigating or bordering Eurasia, along the Arctic coasts, in the north, and also and again to the west, in the direction of Africa, navigating or bordering the Eurasian continent, along the coasts in the south. This could be along the westwards Austronesian expansion currents, or by making the full North Pacific Circle, going up just along the East Asian coasts. In both these cases, the migration would be also along the Combo, Australia, and Guinea.